Hello and welcome back. We're making another tier list video. This time it's going to be on Clash Royale Legendaries. At the time we're recording this tomorrow, there's a big patch dropping tomorrow. Whatever. It's a big patch. They're adding a new legendary, so this is just like what it's like before. They're adding the Fisherman card. And I was going to wait till tomorrow, but then I figured, well, I wouldn't know enough about the card anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just for basis of where I am Master 2 without grinding at all on ladder. So I could probably be a lot higher. I'll know, I guess, next season. And what I might do is like at the end of every season, if you guys enjoy this, I'll make a new tier list on like legendaries, and I might do epics, commons, and rares. But we'll see. Without further ado, let's get into it. I'm just gonna place things where I think they are, not really explain them super well, and then I will like later on I'll explain them. I think Bandit's S. That's a good win condition. Log is A. Mega Knight. Ram Rider A. Hound would be C, I think. I don't know if there's any here. I might move cards later. Princess is B, I think. Night Witch is a really good tank buster, but that's all. Actually, I think Sparky might be an F. Sorry. Lumberjack's high B. Move. Royal Ghost. I haven't seen a ton of Royal Ghost, to be fair, but I think it's around low B tier. Archer, I think C, high C. And the Nice Wizard, I think, is actually like pretty decent. Alright, so let's explain. Sparky, I put an F. It's very easy to counter Sparky. Like, there's things on this list that destroy Sparkies. Like the Infernal Dragon will melt a Sparky if you have literally anything else on Soak. A Zap spell, I guess that also gets Infernal Dragon, but we're not talking about that. Zap will destroy Sparky for like even Tower Walk, and like a small troop can break it. And then if you know how to place something like goblins or even skeletons, and they don't have anything to back it up, which they probably will realistically, but if they don't, it's not going to do anything if they place it well. And it's a 6 elixir card, so it's going to be high risk, high reward, but I feel like most of these cards are very consistent and on a high risk, high reward, so it can either be an F tier or an S tier, but I feel like it's one or the other. Skeleton Army, it's just like, not Scare Army, sorry. Graveyard is very, it really does, a lot of these cards depend on your deck, and certain things combo like really well. But I feel like if you don't have a spell on the ready like a Zap or Poison or Arrows, it's not really going to do anything. And if they play something like a Valkyrie, for God's sake, or like a tankier card with Splash, I guess there's not many of those, but even something like a Mega Knight or just Barbs work as well. I guess Fireball, but if you place anything, Skarmy's, stop saying Skarmy, Graveyard's not going to be realistically doing that much damage. So I just don't think it's that good. Like, obviously it's very good. Oh, sorry, I should say I think all these cards in the grand scheme of cards are probably sitting around B tier, like at the lowest, maybe C tier, maybe. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, so I don't think Skarmy is amazing. Infernal Dragon, kind of the same problem with the Sparky. It's like if you have light troops, it just gets melted, but if it connects to tower, it's going to be a juicy boy. I think Sparky and Infernal Dragon are more assist cards. Well, actually, no, they're not assists, but they cannot. If you can't, you just can't send them by themselves, because an Electro Wizard will destroy these cards. Like, yeah, Electro Wizard, but its Electro Wizard isn't even that high, and I'll explain that later. But I think Infernal Dragon is very situational. It's a very good tank buster, though. It's probably like that or the Night Witch are easily the best tank busters on this list. Sorry, I'm just drinking my Pepsi, not sponsored. But I feel like it's only a tank buster. Even like a full health Infernal Dragon will take out a tower, but you got to be doing something wrong if you're letting a full health Infernal Dragon on your tower and don't do anything about it. Miner is well, Miner here. I'm gonna move Miner up just a little bit though. Miner is very situational because it really does depend on the player, because Miner is a chip card obviously, but you can also use it as, like, Minor Graveyard can actually be very a potent combo, but then again, you also still need a spell, which I don't think Graveyard is very good. So Minor's very good for chip, but I feel like most times if you're playing against a good player, they're gonna always counter your Minor, which makes it useless, and it is only 3 elixir, but like a Goblin gang, a Skeleton army, Goblins even, I'm pretty sure, will pretty much counter the Minor fully. And I guess it is only a 3 elixir card, so that's an okay trade. It's just not the situational trade. And if a card doesn't do something the majority of the time you place it, it can't be amazing. Sorry. Yeah, so Minor, also, is this just player thing? If you don't, I think someone that's watched this video will know who I'm talking to. If you do not mix up your Minor placement, then it's going to be so easy to counter. So, like, you got to mix up where you place the Minor, or that I can just Goblin the same spot every time. So that's also a player thing, so I'm not going to, like, downgrade the card because of that. But that is, I can actually, no, that's not a factor. The Minor is good, it just, like, even if it's just on tower, I guess it does, like, 400, 500, I'm not exactly sure which is good. But it's very easily counterable. Even if you don't counter, it's not a huge, it is a big deal, obviously, at higher levels, but, yeah. Magic Archer. I feel like the Magic Archer's good, but he's very easy to take down, which is like he can shoot through a lot of things great. But like if you like place a swarm card around a Magic Archer, it'll take him down. And the only thing he's really good against is like shooting things through tanks. But usually you're not gonna have super light cards behind tanks. So you're not gonna go like, I don't know, let's say giant and then a skeleton army. You're going to go like a giant, maybe a wizard. And it likely will not take down the wizard before the wizard takes it down, which is unfortunate. But then if you place it in the back, behind things, it can also, like, let's say you have a mini P.E.K.K.A. attacking you and a knight. I'm just pulling things out of my butthole. But you also have, let's say, a lumberjack behind your giant. Then the magic archer, while the lumberjack, like, focuses the knight, the Magic Archer is going to be also to not help with the Knight focus, but it also is going to help with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and it might help with Tower if it's like very well placed. But even then, that's super situational, and I just feel like it's like compared to other cards, it could be utilized much better. I think I'm gonna kind of talk about Royal Ghost and Princess in the same thing here because I think they kind of do the same thing. Princess is very good. Actually, do you know what? No, I'll talk about them separately. I'm going to move the princess up a little bit. Royal Ghost is good because you have to counter it. Like, it doesn't matter, or else it's going to tower connect and probably do about 1,000 damage. It's just, like, it's very good. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't talk about the Lava Hound. Or the Electro Wizard. What am I doing? Frick. Okay, so let's talk about them now. Electro Wizard is... well, as hence the name, it's a walking zap spell essentially, but it is very easy countered. It's like a zap. Like let's say you have something on like light troops on a bridge, you can just use it, and then it's almost always like for a tower lock unless they have another thing to counter it. But it's nice the properties, but you need this card to be behind something or it's not gonna do anything. Like I said, it is a wizard card, so it isn't weak, and the zap priority is nice, but realistically if you're not one-shotting it, you probably don't want to use its zap properties because then it's just going to get destroyed and have no use. So like when it attacks things and zaps them, that's very nice. But it also has a severe lack of health. And it just like, it sucks. It doesn't suck, sorry. It sucks when it dies, and it dies a lot. So you need to have a very good push with it or it's not going to do much. Sorry, I'm out of breath here. Lava Hound is good. It just like it does so little damage, and I get like you need that's like the main drive of it is when it explodes, but it just does so little damage, and it's not realistically it's not that hard to take down. If we're talking about combos, like Lava Loon is one of the most potent combos in the game. That thing's insane because it does have a lot of health, but then again, it's like let's say I have a minion horde, and you already used 12 elixir, and my minion horde it'll kill the Lava Hound easily, and it'll lock on Balloon. By the time it's done with the Balloon, the Lava Pups, realistically, they don't even do that much damage. Like, not much at all. So I can place a minion horde, which is 2 elixir less than the Hound by itself, and that will complete the counter. And it's like, well, then you could just use arrows. But if you use arrows, that's like already, that's a full elixir bar. And that's just a lot of elixir that you're using for something that doesn't do that much damage. And God forbid if you have like an Inferno Tower or something, it's just gonna destroy it. So I feel like if you don't have anything to counter air, Lava Hound is the best card on this list because it's the only air legendary besides Infernal Dragon. But if you do have anything to counter it, it's just bad straight up. Here, just let me having issues here. Night Witch is a very good tank buster. Witch build up, the bat build up is very nice, and usually you're gonna place Night Witch to counter like let's say a Valkyrie, and it might kill the Night Witch, but then you already have like probably 6 bats on it, which will 6 bats will connect the tower, which is not huge damage, but if they eat like 2 bats attack, it's like 100 damage or so, which is just it's nice little chip damage. And then God forbid if you put it behind something and it builds up like the normal witch, when you put it behind something it's a menace because it builds up like the skeletons. But now the skeletons are in the air and they're much harder to deal with now. And also the staff, it does a pretty decent chunk of damage. So the Night Witch is all around just a very good tank buster card, and it's also not like awful for just like pushing. Like I think a really good combo actually is Night Witch Lumberjack, and I'm gonna talk about Lumberjack now. So the Lumberjack, obviously he's very fast and his attack rate is like insane. I think it may be the highest in the game. That or the Knight. I'm pretty sure it's Lumberjack actually. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So Lumberjack does hella tower damage if you don't counter it, and it's only 4 elixir, which is like not too expensive. So let's say Lumberjack, it's just like you can make so many Build-A-Bear combos with Lumberjack because if you have anything with the Lumberjack, it's a threat because you can use, let's say you can use like the thing for soak, so Lumberjack connects to tower, or you could use that thing for Lumberjack for soak, and then Lumberjack dies, like say you place a troop. Let's say you have like, perhaps on this list, what would be good with it? A Royal Ghost, or like an Ice Wizard, or not actually an Ice Wizard, that wouldn't really matter, but like a Mega Knight, Lumberjack, that's crazy because the Mega Knight is now it's raged and it has so much damage, and that troop from beforehand has already been taken down from the Lumberjack, like even just a slight bit. It does have a problem with Swarm though, which is unfortunate, but I feel like you should never be solo pushing with it. So I think Lumberjack is actually pretty good. Princess, Princess is like you have to counter the Princess. There's no way. Like some of these cards, like the Miner, or like the Royal Ghost, or the no, sorry, not the Royal Ghost, like the Ice Wizard, you don't have to counter them. But the Princess, if like let's say I'm having an intense golem battle on the side of the bridge, and I place Princess on bridge at left tower, if I like can keep him occupied and he doesn't have enough elixir or doesn't even notice the Princess chipping away his tower, by the time the fight's done, the Princess is doing like probably 1,000 damage to his tower because it does about, I don't know exact stats for like any of these cards, but I think it does around 150 per shot. I could be completely wrong here, but even if it only does 100, that's still really good. Like that's a lot of chip damage, especially if you're using Miner, Princess, Goblin Barrel. That's like a really good deck because Princess can be used for bait, or the Goblin Barrel can be used for bait, and there's nothing to counter the Princess. You need very fast reactions if they place Princess at bridge to be able to counter it, or it's just gonna do like 100 damage or 200 damage, and that's just annoying. And it is a little tilting. Like when people like spell cycle, it's a very good win condition card actually. That's like the best way to put it. So it's like very last hit. You can put Princess at the bridge, and they need either very good reactions or troops already down closer to it for it to like not kill. So I think it's a very potent card, but also it's like it is very easy to take out, and it won't get that much damage like almost ever. Because it's like you can just arrow it. Like let's say like I have 3 musketeers and the princess is shooting them, and I can just arrow it, and the 3 musketeers are now just gonna go in for a positive elixir trade as well. Like the princess is cheap elixir, but it's also very cheap to take out, which you have to consider. Ice Wizard is also very cheap, but it has 2 things that I really like. It has a special thing and it has splash damage. Splash damage is always very, very, very nice. So actually, I think Royal Ghost. I'm gonna move Royal Ghost up here because the splash damage is very nice. The Ice Wizard can easily by itself take out a skeleton army. You can take out minion hordes, which is like positive elixir. You can take out goblin gangs. I'm pretty sure it can take out a lot of things. And with put let's say like I have a weaker card that's a tank buster. Like let's say I have a witch fighting a P.E.K.K.A. Like by itself, the witch will probably take out the P.E.K.K.A. But if it has the ice thing, or sorry, actually no, witch will take out P.E.K.K.A. Let's say I have a Valkyrie and a witch and an ice wizard versus a P.E.K.K.A. The Valkyrie will die to the P.E.K.K.A. But the ice wizard can make the Valkyrie be so much more valuable because it does so much more damage. And then if an ice wizard connects a tower, its damage shots are pretty annoying, so people won't counter it because it has to do a ton of damage. But if it's behind something like, let's say, I'm always gonna use giant probably for example. It's behind a giant, it's gonna do massive damage because the giant's gonna get so many more hits in, and it's still doing damage to tower. One problem, it does not have a ton of health. I don't know if you can fireball it. I'm pretty sure you can, but that's also due to leveling. It's kind of like wizard, ice wizard, electro wizard, musketeer. They're all fireball, unless you have a nice level, which is cool. But I feel like Ice Wizard is a very good support card, like very good. Ram Rider is the one. Wait a minute, one of two cards that connect the tower, and it's just a better Hog Rider. Realistically, it's not that fast to charge up, but if you can like catch your opponent like with a low elixir, so you can let it charge up before it crosses bridge, it's gonna be going a lot faster. It's gonna be a lot more potent. It's gonna do like more damage if you can't counteract it. And it's like, because usually with a Hog Rider, you want to counter it by putting down Swarm or a building. But you can't really counter a Ram Rider with Swarm. You still can with a building. But Swarm, like, the person, I don't know what to call her, so just the person on the Ram throws her little thing, and it just slows everything down. It can even kill skeletons, so, like, a skeleton army is not going to work. A minion horde, like, barely work, and that's still, like, unfortunately, though, the Ram Rider is semi-expensive. It's the giant level. But a giant's like a big hefty boy where you can send things behind, whereas Ram Rider will die relatively quickly. But also the slowdown effect is nice, but it can only really affect one thing at once. Like she can't slow down everything all like near her attacking her. So I think the Ram Rider is very good, but she can be easily countered by buildings. But I feel like in the meta nowadays, a lot of people don't carry in buildings besides Inferno Towers. But Inferno Towers can be dealt with. Kind of. They're pretty annoying actually, but like they're not too bad. The log, the log is like, if you have the log in your deck, it's just a spell. It's like spells can't really be bad, unless you're like I don't know, a heal spell. But the log, it can take out Princess, Golem Barrel, Golem Gang, like so many light troops. It can do it can actually do like it does a decent amount of damage. So let's say you have like a damaged troop, you can just log it, and its push is kind of destroyed. So the log doesn't do a lot of damage. I'm not going to talk about it for a long time, but I think the log, for what the log does, it's very, very good at its job. But its job is important. While important, it doesn't do a lot of damage to towers, which is an important role here. But overall, I think the log is easy best spell in the game, but it's also the only legendary in the game that's a spell. So I guess that makes sense. Alright, so now we're to the two best cards, in my opinion at least. I don't know if it's Mega Knight or Bandit, but I'm going to talk about Mega Knight first. Mega Knight is very good. It's like a kind of weaker P.E.K.K.A, but not really, because it has its big boy jump, which is like hella splash, so it takes out like almost any, like, it can easily take out like one shot to two shot weaker troops. The splash damage on the Mega Knight is so nice. You have to tank a Mega Knight. Sorry, not tank with your tower, but you have to put a tank to counteract a Mega Knight, or it's just gonna like, or just so many things that it has to jump to, because its jump animation does take a pretty long time, which is one of its fall things. So like, let's say I'm at like one elixir, and it's almost a 2, and I have something for like an ice golem, let's say, but the Mega Knight's starting its jump animation. If the Mega Knight is jumping, like I don't know if it's while it's jumping it stops targeting, or it just doesn't stop targeting until it's like right next to the tower. So if the Mega Knight is like in its jump animation and I play something, it will switch immediately its target to the troop instead, because it's just the closest. That's how the Mega Knight works. So let's say like the Mega Knight's gonna connect a tower. I can place an Ice Golem behind it, and it's gonna slowly fall the Ice Golem until like it kills it. But by then it's gonna have a lot of tower damage, and I'm gonna have more elixir. That's the way to counter it. But it's like in reality, it's still a tank. It still does a lot of splash. You can put things behind it. It's so annoying to deal with. It's so annoying. It takes out a tower by itself, which is very nice. But it does cost 7 elixir. So if I have Mega Knight behind my tower and then they just like rush me with something stupid, I'm gonna be a little hurting. So you gotta know when to use it. It's like a golem kind of, except not as extreme obviously because golem's 8 elixir, which is actually a big difference. But Mega Knight's very good. I think. I just think it can be countered. It's just always annoying and hard to deal with because it can be used for defense and offense. And also it has like the Electro Wizard thing, where when it drops down, it does a lot of like splash damage. So very good card. Can be countered, but I think it's one of the hardest cards to counter. All right. In my opinion, I think this might be the best legendary. It's the Bandit. I think I obviously like use the Bandit, so it might have a little bias. I just think it's super good. It's one of the best win conditions in the game, up there with like the Prince's very good win condition, Gombrel's win condition. But I feel like the Bandit's a very, very good win condition because it doesn't tower lock. But let's say you place like something that's not super strong, the Bandit won't like because the dash is very nice. If you can know the placements to put things so where it won't dash, but it'll still have to walk. It's very good for countering it, but that's still hard. It does get taken out by Swarm. I will say that. Most of these cards are though, but like if a Bandit gets hit with a Swarm card, usually it dies before it can be countered. Or sorry, saved. Like if I like have even if I'm just holding zap or arrows, it's still gonna take a lot of damage and probably will not connect to tower. Pepsi not sponsored. But if you don't have something to counter that, like let's say you put a bomber in the middle. I don't know what it's called actually. I kind of forgot. You don't see them a lot. You don't see them a lot ever actually. But so you put a bomber in the middle to pull. The Bandit will go. It'll dash to the bomber. Won't take any damage from the bomber, and then it'll immediately dash to the tower. So not only did you waste your elixir on the bomber, but the Bandit still made it to tower and like took like maybe an arrow. And Bandit dash is insane. Does like 500 damage or something around that. 500 or 300. I cannot remember. I haven't played ladder in a couple days. And then its normal like schmack is like 150 damage or something. I don't know. Like I said earlier, I don't know exact like things for them. But I think the Bandit, it's very good win condition, and it's okay for defense as well because it can soak a decent amount of damage if it's not from Swarm. Because like I'm pretty sure you can take a P.E.K.K.A hit. I might be thinking of a couple like a mini P.E.K.K.A or something, but I'm fairly certain can take a P.E.K.K.A hit. And then if you have a tank and a Bandit behind the tank, you're gonna have to not only worry about like how to like swarm the tank, but let's say you don't play Swarm, the Bandit may just like bounce around and just hit so many things at once. So quick counters for everything. For Sparky, just like zap it or Swarm. Skeleton Army, like something with splash damage. Infernal Dragon, literally anything that's not a tank. Electro Wizard, like troops that hit decently hard. Lava Hound, buildings, or like air troops, like a Mega Minion would do really well. Minor is Swarm because I feel like even if you are zapping, minor zapping, I feel like that's just not worth it in the end. So I guess that, and then also like mini tanks would work as well. Magic Archer, a Fireball would work. That's like an even elixir trade, or Swarm, or small tank. Night Witch would be. Ooh, Night Witch is kind of hard. Actually, I don't know if I want to move Night Witch up or down. I feel like because everything counters Night Witch at the same time, but nothing does, if that makes sense. So there's no perfect counter to Night Witch because air, it's like. Actually, no, I feel like air troops are good with Night Witch, like a Mega Minion or a Baby Dragon. Royal Ghost, like mini tanks, or actually no, Swarm's not a super good idea because of like small splash. Even though it is small, it's effective. Lumberjack, Swarm. I think mini tanks is not good against Lumberjack. Princess, literally, if it can like fall down the stairs onto the princess is gonna die. So literally anything. Ice Wizard, small tanks, and then Tower Lock. Honestly, Tower Lock's very good against Ice Wizard. Ram Rider buildings. I feel like buildings is the best way to go against Ram Rider. Buildings are like small tanks, so it focuses on like a knight and then like goblins perhaps. Same elixir as the Ram Rider, and it's like then you have a semi push as well, which would be good. But I guess that's for your deck. The log you can't counter it. I don't know what you want me to say. Mega Knight, other tanks, or like a building, or very well placed swarm. Like I'm talking like surround sound Skarmy because that can like take a couple hits because it's slow, and then Bandit would be swarm obviously, and then I guess tanks, but I feel like swarm is the go-to way. Anyway, yeah, that's my tier list. Let me know what you think. It'll change. I'll add the fisherman next time. Let me know what you want to see next, and until then, I'll see y'all in the next video now. See you later, gamers.